Good afternoon, and thank you, Governor. As we've discussed, we are in a second surge of COVID-19. People across our state in every corner of our Commonwealth have been working so hard to fight this virus. And we are grateful for the cooperation and the creativity of the many businesses that make up our main streets and downtowns to help us stay safe, to protect our workforce and consumers alike. And as we approach the holidays, this is one of the busiest and treasured times of year, especially for small businesses in the hospitality industry. And we know this has been incredibly challenging, and it won't be the same. As the Governor said, cases and hospitalizations have recently been increasing statewide, and we must preserve our hospital system's ability to provide life-saving care for everyone who needs it. Today's announcement is meant to tighten up guidance and to ensure that all residents are taking the proper COVID-19 prevention measures no matter where they are. We cannot stress enough that all residents need to keep up their guard, wear a mask, social distance, and avoid groups, as the Governor has repeatedly messaged throughout this pandemic. By increasing mask compliance, encouraging more distancing, and lowering activity, we can stop the spread when the people of Massachusetts will just dig deeper and work harder together. We've proven we can stop the spread of COVID-19, and I'm certain that our residents can and will rise to the occasion once again. We are in a second surge. This is a very serious time, but we are very hopeful that vaccines are in our sights so we can soon restore the full vibrance of our great state and our quality of life. Here are a few more details on today's announcement. Effective this Sunday, we will implement a statewide rollback to Phase 3, Step 1. This is being done in order to reduce the opportunities this virus can have to spread. The rollback will have a number of immediate effects that will apply uniformly to all municipalities across our state. The gathering limits for all outdoor event venues and outdoor spaces will be reduced from 100 to 50 people for outdoor events at event venues in every municipality. People hosting gatherings greater than 25 people outdoors will now be responsible for notifying their local Board of Health. This is an adjustment from previous guidance requiring a notification for outdoor gatherings that are greater than 50 people. And just a great thank you to all the local boards of health and all that they are doing every day in their communities to enforce the safety protocols, help businesses and people comply. They've done an incredible effort, and I know we're asking the local boards of health to do even more as our partners. Indoor theaters, performance venues, and a few smaller indoor recreation businesses will also be required to close with the rollback to Step 1, Phase 3. We are hoping that this will be a temporary closure and that when hospitalizations and public health data stabilizes, we can consider reopening. Outdoor theaters and venues will be limited to a capacity of 25% with no more than 50 people. Other sectors, including arcades, certain recreational businesses, driving and flight schools, gyms and health clubs, libraries and museums, will operate with a reduced allowance of 40% capacity in all communities. Retail stores, office spaces, places of worship, movie theaters, and common areas and lodging facilities will remain open, but will be required to operate at 40% capacity, allowing for greater distancing. With regard to our restaurants, we've asked a lot of our restaurant owners and operators across our state all throughout this pandemic. And as we know, social settings where people are unmasked have been a challenge. The restaurant community has gone to great lengths to enact safety protocols from partitions to outdoor dining and has done a great job operating safely. They've been creative, they've been innovative, and they've really worked hard to make people feel safe coming in and out of their establishments, and most importantly, to allow their workers to feel safe, providing the services in their restaurants day in and day out. But as the governor said, it's important that we keep striving to use every prevention strategy that we have and that we know of to fight COVID-19. In order to improve safety at restaurants for patrons and staff, patrons will no longer be allowed to remove masks as soon as they are seated. Masks must be worn at all times unless eating or drinking. So this allows the server to be masked and the patron to be masked, for instance, when ordering your meal, to protect both parties. In addition, table sizes will be reduced from 10 guests so that no more than 6 people will be seated per table. We also urge patrons to dine only with people in their own household to reduce the risk of transmission. All tables at restaurants will have a 90-minute time limit. We've seen some clusters associated with social clubs, and these clubs are reminded that they must follow the restaurant rules if they are providing food service. Musical performances will no longer be allowed in restaurants, and food court seating will be closed in malls. In gyms and fitness centers, masks will now be required at all times. For office workers, our rules for mask wearing will be adjusted to require all office workers to wear masks. Workers must wear face coverings at all times except when within their own individual workspace and alone, or where a medical condition or disability makes wearing a face covering unsafe. Face coverings will be required for all workers and guests in all common areas and in meeting rooms, even when 6 feet of distance can be maintained. We are also encouraging employers to close or limit use of break rooms where workers may congregate. Employers, if possible, please allow your workers to continue teleworking as we've continued to see spread in the workplace. These restrictions today are targeted ways we can fight back against the second surge of the virus. I urge the public and all industries to take this seriously so that we can keep our businesses open and our economy running. And in order to beat this virus, we must all continue to do our part. This isn't easy, but Massachusetts residents will do what they've done time and time again: protect our state and protect each other by being smart, vigilant, and dedicated to fighting COVID-19. There is a light at the end of this tunnel. Feels different than when we were at the beginning of this pandemic, especially with the vaccine, which over a relatively short period of time has been discovered, manufactured, and soon distributed here in our Commonwealth. And as we see this light at the end of the tunnel and feel much more hopeful about the upcoming weeks, we must continue to follow these measures and hold ourselves accountable so that we can protect not only ourselves, but protect the others that we come in contact with.